97.3 Citi FM. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. My name is Sami Wiafe, and tonight I'm here with
Ejubi Wiafe Akente.
Coming up in the next 1 hour, 30 minutes.
An order prohibiting the consideration and appointment of a new substantive Chief Justice of Ghana.
Former Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu filed suit at the Supreme Court to block the vetting of Justice Paul Bafoboni as the new Chief Justice of the Republic. She is also suing government to stop what she describes as the unlawful denial of her salaries, benefits, and entitlements. Also coming up on Eyewitness News, Accra High Court adjourns indefinitely criminal cases involving former Executive Director of the National Service Authority and his deputy following their absence from court. And later,
we've handed a full document to the Attorney General. He's studying it, and if people are found culpable, I'm very confident that the law will take its course.
Energy Minister submits report on ECG missing container to the Attorney General and Minister of Justice for possible prosecution. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM on this and other stories on Eyewitness News. Later coming up in business.
Engineers and planners finalized $100 million acquisition of Azuma Gold concessions.
Eyewitness News is live on our affiliates across the country, around the globe. We're on citinewsroom.com. Talking about affiliates.
In the Western region, we're live on Beach 105.5 FM and Sky 93.5 FM, both in Takrade. In the Bono region, tune in to Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. In the Ashanti region, we're live on Focus 94.3 FM and Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Volta region, tune in to Revival 99.3 FM in Tajewu and VOV Radio 95.7 in Hohoi. In the Northern region, we're live on Radio Bimbela 91.9 FM. In the Upper East region, it's Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. In the Upper West region, you can tune in to Tungson 97.3 FM in Wa and Jarapa 96.1 FM.
You can also join the conversation with your WhatsApp messages. The number is 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. Ejubi has our first story.
Former Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu has filed a legal challenge to halt the vetting and appointment of Justice Bafoboni as Ghana's next Chief Justice. The suit filed at the High Court seeks to nullify all actions taken by the Justice Gabriel Scott Poaman Committee, which was established to investigate petitions leading to her removal. Justice Tokonu was removed from office on September 1 by President Mahama, acting on the recommendation of a committee established under Article 146 of the Constitution. The committee, after consulting the Council of State, found her guilty of misconduct, including the misuse of public funds and breaches of constitutional provisions. In her recent application, Justice Tokonu is asking the court to declare the committee's proceedings invalid and to nullify the presidential warrants that effected her removal from office, describing it as illegal and of no effect.
Let's get more details on this particular. Fred Jabano, my colleague here, joins me in the studio for some details on this latest suit filed by the former Chief Justice of the Republic. Fred, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. What's in there?
So, Sami, as you said earlier, the Chief Justice has filed for an application for judicial review at the High Court. She is asking for some reliefs, and in this particular application, she is suing two people: the President of the Republic of Ghana and the Attorney General. And she is asking for certain things to be done. And this particular suit stems from the work of the Poaman Committee, the committee set up under Article 146, which had the proceedings and petitions which led to her removal as Chief Justice. So as part of her relief she's seeking for, she's asking that the court quashes the proceedings of the Poaman Committee, which recommended her removal. She's also asking that the three grounds which were given by the committee which led to her removal also be quashed, and also the presidential warrant dated 1st September 2025 removing her from office should be quashed. She's also asking the court to for some prohibition orders, and these orders include that the appointments, the court prohibits the president and any other person from going ahead to appoint a new Chief Justice. She's also asking that the court prohibits the withdrawal or the denial of her salary, benefits, entitlements pending the determination of this particular case. So these are the reliefs when you summarize the Chief Justice is former Chief Justice or removed Chief Justice is asking for. When you look at her grounds for this particular application, she argues that the Kwaman Committee findings did not meet the constitutional threshold under Article 146, which states misconduct, incompetence, or infirmity. She's also saying that the proceedings and recommendations were unconstitutional, unfair, irrational, and illegal. She also alleges that the alleged misconduct, or she argues that the alleged misconduct findings were based on expenditures not authorized by or directly involving the Chief Justice, and not as subject to any surcharge or adverse findings by the Auditor General. She's also saying that the committee exceeded its powers, misconstrued its mandate, and breached the rules of natural justice. As part of her argument, the Chief Justice or former Chief Justice also saying that the proceedings were adversarial. It was like a court trial instead of an impartial inquiry as required by Article 146. Finally, she's also saying that the committee's actions violated her constitutional rights to administrative justice under Articles 1913 and 23 and breached Article 926 of the Constitution.
So basically it has to do with the her removal from office.
So this particular suit is a judicial review, and it's asking a higher court or a higher body to overturn the decision of a lower judicial body. So the committee's work under 146 is a judicial body established by the Constitution for removal of justices of the of the Supreme Court. Then the committee performs their duty, recommends certain actions to be taken. The president takes those actions. Now the removed Chief Justice is gone back to the court, which is the High Court, to ask that these particular decisions taken by the committee, which is a lower body, should be overturned.
Fred, thank you very much for your time. Fred Tete Jabona is my colleague here at Citi FM, taking us through the latest suit filed by the former Chief Justice of the Republic, Madam Gertrude Tokono. Let's go to the phone line and speak to Kweku Ansasari, former director of the Ghana School of Law, to get his perspective and opinions on this particular issue. Good evening. Thank you very much for your time. I'm sure you've seen this latest action by the former Chief Justice. What do you make of it, sir?
Thank you. Good evening. What I do make of it is that it is an attempt to reactivate a file that was closed on 1st September and cannot be revived. A case is a dead case, and she must accept that as much.
Why do you describe it as a dead case?
Because the president has acted upon the recommendation of the committee as far back as 1st September 2025. And with the acceptance of the findings and recommendations of the Justice Kwaman Committee, the entire case came to an end. So if there was any substratum of the case at all, that foundation, was buried on the 1st of September. The president has immunity. He cannot be sued. The committee members, each of them has an immunity because when they were performing their functions, it was more or less like sitting, in a court, presiding over, a case in court. When you are presiding over a case in court, you have judicial immunity. And at least when Justice NYD Adade attempted in 1990 to sue Madam Teresa Amasa, the late Madam Teresa Amasa, Justice Adade was reminded that, each judge has judicial immunity connection with the case. So this is a matter, that none can be sued. You can't sue the committee. You can't sue, the president. The Constitution, has made it quite clear. Where the Constitution gives a right, that right, if it is infringed, will have a corresponding remedy. If the remedium is the maxim. Now, there's no such, right that one can allege has been infringed, and therefore there is no remedy that the Constitution or any statute has provided, to arrive out of the Article 146, 1992 Constitution CJ removal process. That's why I describe it as dead and buried.
In the same scene, she's also asking the court to more or less to stop the vetting of the new Chief Justice. Should Parliament put this on hold per the outcome of this court's case?
Well, I mean, in obedience to judicial processes, a court may take judicial notice, of the latest, application and hold its hand, until the application is disposed of, even though, it is legally and constitutionally, non-existent, because, it lacks, support in the law. And since the Constitution doesn't give any such right, I don't think, it is something that the court, should bother to consider. But because we are in a democracy and the rule of law, is the cornerstone of our democratic, administration, the court, will oblige, and hold it. I don't know the date the case has been, fixed for hearing. But, it's something that it depends on, the court. But I don't think that this is, something that should derail the presidential and parliamentary processes, towards the vetting of Justice for Bonny. Again, the position of the CJ is not, former Chief Justice Tokonu's personal, property that she can, put and take out of a, traveling bag. This is, an office established by law. A traveling bag is not established by law, and therefore she can keep, personal properties in the bag, but leave, the property of the Republic of Ghana, including the office of the Chief Justice, intact, leave it alone, And if anyone must, tell her, I'm afraid, I'll tell her this evening that her case died on 1st September. And therefore, as soon as the president signed, her case became a disembodied spirit, which cannot be revived. It didn't go into abeyance, but it was lost. And once it was buried, maybe she might want to go and assume, the disembodied, spirit of a dead case. But then she will realize that there's nothing, for her to assume. So she has to stop. And rather find, people, who can have, the good sense, to approach the president to intervene in this matter. I am sympathetic, that she is losing everything. But as far as the law is concerned, I don't sympathize with her at all, if anything at all. She is rather proving me right that she was not mature enough, to have been appointed to fill the vacancy, of the high office of Chief Justice. She is now, demonstrating, gross abuse and disrespect, of the laws of Ghana. A former Chief Justice ought not, do that. Now that she is doing it, she is proving me right. When in October last year, I said that her body language alone rendered her unfit to hold the position of Chief Justice. She is now proving me right. And this must go to our presidents. Whenever they are making nominations, they have, to take the person's, maturity and temperament into, as factors into account.
But she's also asking, and seeing the government to stop what she describes as the unlawful denial of her salaries, benefits, and entitlements.
That one, is not a legal matter. She has been removed. The remover went, away with all her retiring benefits. The approach, does not reside in the law. It rather resides, in a common sense approach. You see, the voice of the people is the voice of God. The voice of the people is the voice of God. Before the president removed her, I believe, there were one or two, accounts, from the media that we got to know, that the majority of Ghanaians supported, her removal. So if the people have spoken and God has listened, and she is now trying, to interfere with the process, well, all I can say is, to appeal to members of the Judicial Council to see if they can disregard what the former Chief Justice is doing, and rather, appeal to the president, to reconsider, the forfeiture of the entitlement. That one I will support, because you see, she's a family, person. She's a mother, of children. She's a wife of her husband. She has relatives and all that. So that one I can. But on the law, she has no case. God's case, no appeal. This is one of God's cases. God's case, there's no appeal.
Thank you very much for your time. Former director of the Ghana School of Law, Kweku Ansa Asari. This is Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
We asked Ghanaian business owners what they want from Old Mutual.
I want insurance and pension solutions that will protect my employees.
Your business growth is our business. For 180 years, we have partnered with businesses to protect and grow their most valuable assets. From tailored group life assurance protection to affordable pension plans, we've got your business and your employees covered. Contact your broker or call Old Mutual on 0509 551 609 today. Old Mutual, do great things every day.
My hands are champion, creating temptation. 100% natural keyboard. Ginger, garlic, onion. No salt, no MSG. No preservatives. Steam them natural. Chicken, fish, and meat. Yes,
Kivo 3 in 100% natural ginger garlic onion powder. Incredible aroma. Champion taste. This advert is FDA approved.
Ginger, garlic, and onion. 3 in 1 Kivo.
Jenny, our operations are too complex to be managed on spreadsheets. We need real-time control.
Exactly. That's why companies like ours are moving to Sage ERP 300. It integrates finance, procurement, inventory, and project costing across all departments.
I've seen it work. Multi-location reporting, consolidated dashboards, even intercompany transactions, all seamless.
And the best part? Trust Consult handles everything. Deployment, training, and support. We are Sage's certified partner here in Ghana.
Perfect. Let's contact them today. 0302 246 875 or 0244 965 119. Visit their office in Kokomoni or the website trustconsultlimited.org.
Sage ERP 300. Built for growth, trusted by enterprise.
Channel 1 TV has a way of telling their stories. Stories that empower change. Capturing the trending issues, delving into our communities, getting out the voices that matter.
Almost 13 to 15 people were under the ground and it collapsed on them. Yesterday we were able to make it and remove 8 of them and 4 were dead.
Channel 1 Newsroom, CNR, brings you an exhaustive coverage of the day's news. 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. every night.
Don't mind in forest reserves and always, when you've created a mess, clean it up. The laws are there. So it's not that we need more laws. It is just that we need more enforcement.
Channel 1 Newsroom captures the exact news temperature of the nation. From the northern, western, eastern, and southern parts of Ghana, Channel 1 Newsroom, CNR's got you covered.
Let's speak to the core issues in terms of how we can prevent professionals who have been given the mandate to teach our children, and for this matter, the whole children's standard of care, and how they can live up to expectation.
8 p.m. and 11 p.m. every night.
How can somebody wake and you tell the person I appreciate you for 10 good months? I can't stand it. I'm owing rent. What should I do to be able to pay my rent? I don't understand. They should pay us. Enough is enough.
CNR, telling your stories, empowering change. Catch CNR on Channel 1 TV at 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. every night.
We're trendy and youthful. We're UBA. We're here to make your life better, stress-free and easy. We go the extra mile, beyond your expectations. We will get it done and get it done very well now. UBA, best loans and more. UBA, best customer satisfaction. UBA, best digital solutions. UBA, Africa's global bank.
For best retail products, innovative offerings, loans made just for you, attractive interest rates, trading across Africa or sending money. If you want the best digital banking products, including chatting with you on WhatsApp and Facebook, turn to UBA, Africa's global bank.
The jamming never stops. The game never stops. The productivity never stops. The music never stops. At G&J, we keep your world powered with reliable generators, solar energy, and UPS solutions, so the power never stops. Your go-to for total energy solutions, making sure you work, thrive, and live life uninterrupted. Visit our website, gjtechghana.com, or call us on 0302 689 178 or 179 or 0202 222 220. G&J, your energy partner.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. Let's still stay in the court because the two accused persons in the National Service Authority are case former Executive Director Osei Esibe Entry and his deputy Gifty Owaribo failed to appear in court today. Both face charges including causing financial loss to the state, stealing and money laundering. Lawyers for Osei Esibe said he was in Kumasi on police instruction and had not yet received the charge sheet. Whilst Gifty Owaribo's lawyers presented a medical excuse, the trial, which is expected to commence today, had been adjourned indefinitely. And then there was another court issue in court as well, which has to do with the former National Signals Bureau boss. My colleague Charles Osu Kumi was in court for the two cases and will give us updates. Charles, tell us. Let's start with the Gifty Owaribo and then Osei Esibe issue. What really happened in court?
Well, Sami, so these two cases, they were expected to also commence while the Eduboyin case was ongoing. So while we were in the courtroom for the Eduboyin hearing, we heard that something was happening in the other court. So we just went quickly to check, and there was the lawyer for Osei Esibe who had come to pray the court that he had heard the news, like in the media, that they were supposed to be come to court today because they had not been served even the charge sheet, and that his client was expected to attend upon the investigators in Kumasi. So he had gone to Kumasi, and they were not privy of any court hearing today. So, well, the judge did say that okay, then he was adjourning the case indefinitely, and then a later date will be rescheduled for their hearing. For Gifty, her lawyer, Gary Nimako, is the one leading her representation now. He also came to pray the court for some extension because she has been unwell for some time and asked for 2 days. So her case is also expected to be heard next week, but we don't have a definite date yet.
Let's talk about the other issue, which has to do with the former boss of the National Signals Bureau.
Well, that trial was, virtually the entire day. Started around 9 a.m., ended at 4 p.m. Because the judge says he's dedicating 2 days in the week to this particular case. So today, for example, the judge only heard this case throughout the entire day. Now, very early on in today's proceedings, we know that as part of their defense, lawyer for Eduboahene earlier had asked the court that the court stay proceedings, and so that they will be able to go to the Court of Appeal and get an application that they had filed with the Court of Appeal, get that dealt with before the court would continue hearing this particular case. Now, this was because as within this trial, Eduboahene's lawyers had asked the High Court an application for full disclosures of documents. For them, these documents would help in the defense of Eduboahene. However, the court had ruled that it was not going to grant this application. Now, following the court's dismissal of that application, Eduboahene's lawyers, led by lawyer Atachia, then went to the Court of Appeal to appeal the ruling of the High Court. And this was the reason why they had come back to the High Court to stay the proceedings of the trial until there has been a determination of that Court of Appeal case. Then they can go ahead. But today in court, the judge did say that no, he's going to continue with the trial. And so he dismissed that application for stay that had been filed by Eduboahene and his lawyers.
Very disappointing for the lawyers, I guess.
Well, yes. I mean, lawyer Atachia says that that ruling means that the court was denying his client an opportunity to properly defend himself. He says that those documents would help in his case and in his defense, but the fact that the court is refusing to grant that application of full disclosures of those documents, he may not be able to defend himself as well as he should, and he was quite disappointed when we spoke to him. Now, also, something major happened today in respect to the Eduboahene case. So we know that yesterday the prosecution filed a notice at the High Court, withdrawing the prosecution of the third accused. Now, when this came to court today, Atachia, which is the defense for the first accused, Eduboahene, sought to object to this withdrawal. For him, his argument was that withdrawing the prosecution of the third accused is so consequential that you cannot just come with a notice, and that it must come via motion. The lawyers, debated the matter, but the judge eventually said that the Attorney General has the mandate to prosecute. The mandate given by the state to prosecute, and so the Attorney General can determine when to withdraw a particular prosecution without recourse to the judge or without permission from the court. And so he didn't see the need for that objection, and that was also overruled and in favor of the prosecution.
Okay, Charles, thank you very much for your Charles Ozukumi is my colleague here at Citi FM, who was in court today on this matter. Let's go to the phone and speak to Samuel Atachia. He's lawyer for Kwabena Eduboahene, the former boss of the National Signals Bureau. Mr. Atachia, you seem not to be happy about proceedings in court today.
Well, you cannot be happy if the court of law is blocking exculpatory evidence. What does that mean? He's supposed to be a referee, and there are matters that have to inure to the benefit of the accused person, because there's a presumption of innocence in terms of the Constitution. If the judge said, no, I will not give you the opportunity to have what will set you free, but nevertheless, I will soldier on with the trial. How can they make anybody happy? That's a travesty of justice. And I don't mind if today you want to change an accused person to a witness. That's up to you. You want to rehabilitate the poor house you put together. Who cares about that? But the proper thing should be done. That you just don't file the process and notice that if you're drawn here, it should have come properly by motion, and then also the charges will then, be corrected. Because as we're talking now, if you look at count 10 and 11, they touch on money laundering. But the guy said, well, you can use your pen to cross it and take the accused and witness out of it. But I don't mind if you don't effect changes with the facts as signed by Dr. Dominic Ayeni, the Attorney General. So these are some of the absurdities that we are seeing. But then we are fortified that our client is very, very innocent, but we'll fight on. And I'm sure another forum will compel the disclosures to come to us. Now we can do a good job, because these are the weapons of our warfare. What they are trying to hide is what will set us free. And it's unfortunate.
Were you surprised at this development?
I'm not surprised at all, because, I know from the one that there was a press razzmatazz. It didn't have evidential support. Now, they came back trying to find the evidence to firm up the charges in court. What is worse? A lady now is a prosecution witness, an accused person. That somersault should inform every well-meaning person that, look, the prosecution is struggling. Because I don't see how ab initio you won't understand who you are charging. You charge a woman, the trial has started. The woman is listening to the proceedings. For you to just come and say that, look, the woman I believe is a criminal should now be a witness for me. Pathetic. So this is where we are.
Is this not going to make your case a bit difficult, looking at the changing circumstances now?
It's not going to make the case difficult. It is exposing, the lopsided nature of the case of the Attorney General. And that will be their barrier ground. Now, when you've roofed the house, you think now there's a problem with the structure. So, can I remove the foundation and then see how just the roof, the rehabilitation issue minister to you that they are having crisis. Accused person now should come and aid you to come and rehabilitate your case. And what is the consideration for that? I will secure you freedom if you can sufficiently lie against the other accused persons. Would that not be a good way to posit this situation? But apart from that, why do you want to say that go free, but the cost of you going free is that come and testify for me? We are not men who are kindergarten boys. We are seeing through all the shenanigans, but to collapse their own case. I wonder how this lady will have the audacity to come and stand in the witness box and say that, look, I said X when I was an accused person. Now I've gained my freedom. I'm going to say Y. The contradiction will be monstrous. And that will collapse the case of the prosecution.
But is this normal in law practice?
Well, it's abnormal in law practice not to be ready to do a trial. And then you do an ambulance trial and you come to conclusions that, look, the case is collapsing. Can I get one accused person, to come to my side to speak against the other people who are accused? it's an aberration. Yeah, because normally when we say that you discontinue an action against another person, that is not reciprocal. You don't withdraw the charges against the person and say that, look, come and testify for me. The accused is not going to testify. The one you didn't believe was truthful and was into money laundering becomes a holy person for you to come and testify to show up your case. The contradiction is monstrous.
You also seem not to be happy today about the decision of the court to go ahead with the trial despite a pending appeal.
Well, I've told you that the judge is hell-bent to continue the case, even if we are denied the exculpatory evidence. That's not lost to us at all. We will take all the steps to ensure that this travesty of justice is corrected.
Dr. Thank you very much for your time. Samuel Atachi is lawyer for Kwabena Edubuahin, the former boss of the National Signals Bureau. This is Eyewitness News coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. A few of your WhatsApp messages. I strongly oppose the former CJ's attempt to file an injunction against the vetting of Justice Bafuboni as the new Chief Justice. Such actions undermines the democratic process and judicial integrity. Justice should be based on merit, transparency, and the process, and not personal interference. Upholding justice and the rule of law is permanent for our nation's progress. This is Mausi from Abutia T in the Volta region. I humbly appeal to the FIDA and the women's rights organizations to come together to support the former Chief Justice in this fight. Akapo in her for him. I think it's about time the former Chief Justice gives away, because this fight is a lost case. This is from Peter in Tema. The former Chief Justice should stop wasting everybody's time. Nothing will come out of her case. Abi National in Wa. And then Kwesi in Accra says, what at all is this? Is the former Chief Justice looking for? One removal, she won't allow anybody and everybody to rest. Enough is enough. She should remember that the law is the law. This is Eyewitness News coming to you live from our studio here in Accra.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens. Are you ready to unlock the next big thing? It's a universe of endless possibilities. Get ready to be part of this universe.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Ugomi, now what time when you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I don't change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, so
this is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it will protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I'll go drive
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind self be the 3-in-1 action. No, Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. One pair way now open there.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, they make a finish Magobe fast then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why you have the Magobe inside?
I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small.
Go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
This year is going to be sweet. I don't just feel it, I know it, because the Lucky Season 3 is back.
And I'm about to show you how to grab your golden ticket. Just dial *712# and follow the prompts to purchase your ticket. Or go to theluckiestafrica.com, hit community tickets, and pick your lucky number.
And let the system do its magic. Choose how much you want to spend from 1 to 5,000 Ghana cedis. You can even buy a ticket for someone else. Be someone's hero. Payment? Easy. Mobile money in Ghana or card if you're international.
One ticket contain 1 CD into 500 times more. That's smart we love. Or your community will win 10 times more. So let's get lucky together, because luck
is everywhere.
Play responsibly, not for persons under 18 years. This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Who is calling me this other one?
Hello. Good evening, Kwame.
Good evening.
We are into baby foods and would like to introduce...
Wait a minute. How did you get my number? You just use ways and means to find people's numbers and be calling them by heart. No respect for privacy or anything at all.
Oh, Bra Kwame.
Is your business privacy ready? Do you collect and use information of people in your line of work, like their name, number, location? You might be doing the wrong things. Whether you're a big company or a small one, you must respect people's right to privacy. Register and be certified by the Data Protection Commission of Ghana. It is the law. You will receive the necessary training, advice, and guided on the right systems to put in place to help protect information you collect about people. Register your company. It's simple and online. Visit www.dataprotection.org.gh to register. Privacy is the responsibility of everyone. Remember, privacy is personal.
Hey, Ruben. Every 2 seconds notification. The Momo keeps on coming. It keeps on coming, eh?
Ma, I am the community Momo man now. People send money, and with the Momo app, every payment is done. My transactions are flying.
Hey, Adeng.
Ma, you didn't know, eh?
Over 2 million Ghana cedis is up for grabs in the Stillman Saka promo. Transact more than 100 Ghana cedis with your Momo app, and you could win daily, weekly, and monthly cash prizes, and 100,000 Ghana cedis grand prize. And it's not just payments and money transfers. Bank to wallet transactions, savings, loans, investments, pensions, POS transactions, and Momo transactions from other partner platforms qualify. This promo runs in collaboration with the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. The government is finalizing a memorandum of understanding with Grenada to waive visa requirements for both countries. President John Dramani Mahama announced this during a courtesy visit by the Prime Minister of Grenada, Dixon Thomas Michel. Speaking at the meeting, President Mahama stated that the initiative aims to promote ease of travel and strengthen bilateral relations by enabling visa-free visits between the two countries.
We have the MOU on visa waiver for each of the citizens, which is in operation. We've had a few complaints of a few Grenadian citizens who didn't have a very good experience. We are asking the Prime Ministry to sort it out so that we can fully implement the visa waiver for all categories of passports, diplomatic service and ordinary passports. Our two citizens should be able to travel freely between each other, and so it's something that we want to do a confirmation that is fully implemented.
You heard President John Dramani Mahama. Meanwhile, Grenada's Prime Minister Dixon Thomas Michel expressed his government's willingness to strengthen ties with Ghana, aiming to reconnect politically and economically to enhance trade relations for the mutual benefit of both Ghanaians and Grenadians.
The very first African country I visited was Ghana. And I think, in a sense, it's a natural aligning of the stars, and as you say, of the deliberate use of the ocean as a bridge to make sure that we in the Caribbean can connect deliberately with our roots, with politically, socially, culturally, and importantly, economically as well. Because oftentimes, while we welcome the conversations and the meeting, we recognize the importance of trade, because it's trade that, in fact, led to the back middle passage, the transatlantic slave trade. But obviously, we want to be able to trade and grow economies and make sure citizens benefit from a trade that is progressive, that is deliberate, and looks after the well-being for our citizens. So I want to express my deep appreciation for hosting me and my delegation. I appreciate you just came from China. It's an incredibly long way, and so for you to make time in your schedule to accommodate this visit is deeply appreciated.
Dixon Thomas Michel is Grenada's Prime Minister. Now, Ghanaian medical students in Cuba are once again appealing to the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat to urgently release their long overdue stipends. The students say they have not received their stipends for the last 18 months, while their book allowance has been withheld for 5 years. They note that the prolonged delay is severely affecting both their academic work and daily survival. Despite several appeals, they claim there has been no response or action from the Secretariat. Samuel Asante, one of the affected students, in an interview with Citi News, called on government authorities to intervene immediately to prevent further deterioration of the academic and mental well-being.
I need to ask the Ghana Scholarship Secretariat to find out the reason why there has been a delay with sending money to the students here in Cuba, because the situation here is very difficult, and like we all know, Cuba itself is facing serious economic crisis due to the embargo US has placed on them, and ever since Trump took power, the situation here has really worsened. I can't even begin to say it word for word as to how it's affecting our lives, because it's very unimaginable. Can't afford basic necessities such as food, soap, sanitaries, and many others. We are trapped in a system where we are expected to study, survive, and succeed academically, but without any means to sustain ourselves. We feel abandoned and left. It's like we've been left on the desert just to survive by ourselves. We are now forced to hide before attending our clinical duties just to avoid humiliation of facing those we owe. Or we are not asking for luxury, but we just want the bare minimum just to survive and focus peacefully on our studies and return home to serve our motherland as doctors.
You heard aggrieved Ghanaian medical student in Cuba, Samuel Asante. Now, Kennedy Ejapon, a flag bearer aspirant of the New Patriotic Party, is urging party delegates to elect a businessman to lead the country, arguing that Ghana has tried leaders from other professions, including economists and lawyers, with little progress. Speaking during his campaign tour in Wa, the Upper West region, he said his business experience gives him the skill to transform the economy. He appealed to delegates to give him the mandate to lead the party into the 2028 elections.
We are going to build fertilizer plant.
We are going to build fertilizer plants in the north and make full use of the vast lands in this region. I am always surprised at how underutilized these lands are. You have tried politicians who are economists and lawyers. Now it's time to try a businessman. In Benin, a businessman was elected and he focused on building the cotton industry. We can do same to transform our economy.
President business cotton industry.
Still on the NPP's 2026 primaries, flag bearer hopeful Brian Echampon says his focus will be on youth unemployment if giving the nod to represent the party in the 2028 general elections. He made these remarks when his campaign tour made a stop at Manfe in the eastern region. Addressing delegates, he highlighted his investments in major businesses across the country, which he says are already providing jobs for many young people.
In 2028, we're very sure of the youthful nature of our register.
Ahead of the 2028 elections, a crucial factor to consider is the youthful nature of our voters' register, and these young ones need a figure who can inspire them, leverage government resources, and create jobs.
Power of government, no, they create jobs, and they are very, very inspiring for young people, and that's why I take my time to talk about these things.
New Patriotic Party flag bearer hopeful Brian Echampon. Now, the National Peace Council has stepped up engagement with indigents from Boko currently residing in the Ashanti region to encourage peaceful coexistence between the Kusase and Mamproti factions. The move is part of efforts to avert a possible spillover of the long-standing conflict between the two groups. The The council also brought together women's groups from both sides to sensitize them on the need to foster peace. Former chairperson of the council, Emmanuel Asante, pledged the council's support to help bring lasting peace to the Boko conflict.
The political element is a big problem, and I'm hoping that our politicians, for us to demonstrate together that they are one, I do believe that is going to do a lot of things for the Boko Peace Initiative. Other women in different regions will also take a cue from what they are doing, and they will then follow. So for me, this is very, very, very crucial, and I'm praying that it will not just be a day's wonder, that the zeal with which they have spoken and the commitments they have made, we will be able to push it further for us to see that unity, that oneness, that public demonstration of oneness, so that it will stretch, and touch the different regions and bring peace to Boko.
Most Reverend Emmanuel Asante also condemned the politicization of issues that continue to fuel the Boko conflict.
The political element is a big problem, and I'm hoping that our politicians will stay away from, exploiting such situations to enhance their own party ego, if I may put it that way. Let the politicians understand that the peace of any part of this country redounds to the well-being and to the development of our nation. And therefore, let's not exploit such situations secretly just because we want to be in power or we want to gain power or whatever it is. We are one people and we should not destroy ourselves.
You heard former chairperson of the National Peace Council, Most Reverend Emmanuel Asante.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Ejibi Wiafe Akintin. Let's settle for the details. Engineers and Planners has completed full payment of $100 million to former foreign shareholders of Azuma Resources Ghana Limited, finalizing its acquisition of the Black Volta and Sankofa Gold concessions. The two international transfers were made through the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development in Lomé on October 6 and 7, 2025. The first transfer of $8.07 million went to Kango Pte Limited in London, while the second $91.92 million was sent to IGIC Pte Limited in Singapore. The payments marked the final settlement with Azuma Australia and its partners, bringing closure to months of disputes over ownership and control of the concession. Director of Azuma Resources Ghana, Noel Ni Ado, confirmed the development at a stakeholder briefing in Accra.
Now, to give you a little bit of a background of the transaction was in two folds. First, the acquisition of the shares, and then also the loan books of Azuma. And that was arrangement between Engineers and Planners, IGIC, and then Kango, who are the foreign shareholders based in Australia and Singapore, respectively. As we speak, as on the 6th and 7th of October, the second leg of the acquisition or the swap of the loan facility of Azuma has duly been executed. Engineers and Planners has hereby transferred what is due IGIC as well as Kango. That's about $91 million to IGIC and another about $9 million to Kango, thereby sealing the whole transaction. So as we speak right now, the transaction, the financial obligations due Engineers and Planners have been duly settled, making the Engineers and Planners the sole owner of Azuma.
That was the director of Azuma Resources Ghana, Noel Ni Ado. Many Ghanaians remain unaware of the value brokers bring to the insurance process, from helping clients secure the right policies, negotiate fair premiums, and ensure faster claims processing, all at no additional cost. Despite these benefits, insurance adoption and penetration in Ghana is still low. To reverse this, the Insurance Brokers Association of Ghana, IBAG, has moved to embark on a month-long public awareness campaign to ensure informed financial protection choices and deepen confidence in the insurance market. President of the association, Shaibu Ali, tells Citi Business News members have resolved to make insurance brokers get the gateway to increasing coverage and reducing financial risk across the country.
This is October. This is the month that we discuss insurance and especially insurance broking. I want to draw the attention to the fact that, look, if you think that you don't have money and so you should not buy insurance, that would be a great mistake. It's a lot more convenient for you as a consumer of insurance to do whatever interaction or transaction you want to do on insurance through the services of a broker, because a broker is also an insurance professional just like the insurance company, and so whatever that the underwriters know, the broker equally knows it. So when the broker is leading you as a client to purchase an insurance, he leads you with a lot of knowledge. When there's a claim, the broker is going to handle the claim. He knows the claims procedure and everything, so it's very difficult for an insurer to change a client. Using the service of a broker does not cost the client anything more. It doesn't cost you 1 Ghana cedi more or 1 Ghana peso more. Rather, you can get to do a lot of savings because the broker would know where to get a cheaper product for you from.
President of the Insurance Brokers Association of Ghana, Shaibu Ali. Now, the Bank of Ghana is deepening its push for sustainable banking in the extractive sector to align the financial space with responsible lending and measurable sustainability impact. Its second Deputy Governor, Matilda Asiedu Asante, disclosed this at a deep dive session with industry players in mining.
And so far, what the I think we negotiated has done tells me that we are saving about $300 million from the IPs. The previous administration did their bid, we've also come to improve on it, and that is what we have to be doing. It's not always about politics, let's sometimes put the nation's interest first. If we do it, we'll do it for Ghana. And so I don't care your political affiliation as you sit here. In 4 years' time, you will determine what happens. But before the 4 years, let's put VRA first, let's put Ghana first, and let's work and turn around this sector. This year's budget is giving us 28 billion, not for investments, but to pay energy sector shortfalls. If it continues like that, next year will be 35 billion. If we don't stop it, what it means is eventually, energy sector shortfalls alone will consume the whole budget, and it's not sustainable. So I've been working with the team aggressively to turn around that unfortunate scenario, so that eventually we can win the energy sector of the national budget. And from what we are paying, from the revenues we are generating, from the improvements that we are making, I can see that there's light at the end of the tunnel, even though there's more to be done.
We apologize for that wrong insert. Some market watchers say Ghana's improving macroeconomic indicators, including slowing inflation and a stabilizing cedi, supports the government and central bank claims that the economy is turning the corner. However, they caution that these gains are yet to trickle down to ordinary Ghanaians as unemployment remains high and the cost of living continues to weigh on households. While the signs of recovery are encouraging, economist Professor Patrick Isuming believes the focus must now shift to sustained growth that directly impacts livelihoods.
If you look at the macroeconomic indicators, you clearly see there's been a dramatic improvement, and you can call that a turnaround. We've seen that the real sector, the economy, is growing stronger than we projected, and is growing stronger than last year. And this growth appears to be more broad-based. In the last couple of years, even a few sectors will drive the growth. This time, we've seen more broad-based growth in the first half of the year. We've seen the currency strengthen. We've seen inflation reduce dramatically and come to now the single-digit range. It is probably when we start looking at more micro data, that's where some disconnect may appear. If you start looking at labor market statistics, employment numbers, when you see that people are saying there's a disconnect between what the macro numbers are saying and how people are actually feeling, you have to start looking at incomes, employment, and so those kind of statistics. Then you begin to see.
Economist Professor Patrick Isuming with views on Ghana's current economic look. And that's all for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Ejibi Wiafe Akinti. Up next is Point Blank.
Are you feeling tired after a hard day's work? Have you lost your appetite even for your favorite dish? Viral Blood Tonic is a nutritionally balanced, pleasant-tasting tonic fortified with iron and vitamins to boost your appetite and energy levels for high performance. Viral Blood Tonic, easy to take and good for the family. Viral from Danex Iting Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult a physician. This advert is FDA approved.
If you know these sounds, you didn't just live through the 90s, you lived the experience. Back then, connection took minutes. Today, it takes a blink. You express yourself with memes. You hold video calls across continents. You say hey to an AI who responds, "Hello, Kwame." You order rides, dinner, and dreams all from the palm of your hand. A lot has changed, so have we. For over 3 decades, EcoBank has evolved with you, leading digital banking in Ghana and across 33 African countries, pioneering solutions built around how you live, move, and dream today. From our express points to EcoBank Pay, online banking in the mobile app, we are where you are. Here for today, ready for tomorrow. Now, that's change. Powered by EcoBank. EcoBank, a better way to bank your way. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Ugomi, and what time when you come back, we are not hear the sound of your car. Why you buy new car? No, I not change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, so this is the type of fuel where they want to. Cause now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind self be the 3-in-1 action. No, Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open it. So where can I find this magical fuel? Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you. Hey, they make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why you hand my gobe inside? I give you info. Make a full the gobe too small. Go. And Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
This year is going to be sweet. I don't just feel it, I know it, because the Lucky Season 3 is back.
And I'm about to show you how to grab your golden ticket. Just dial *712# and follow the prompts to purchase your ticket. Or go to the luckiestafrica.com, hit community tickets, and pick your lucky number.
And let the system do its magic. Choose how much you want to spend from 1 to 5,000 Ghana cedis. You can even buy a ticket for someone else. Be someone's hero. Payment? Easy. Mobile money in Ghana or card if you're international.
One ticket can turn 1 cedi into 500 times more. That's much we love. Or your community will win 10 times more. So let's get lucky together, because luck is everywhere.
Play responsibly. Not for persons under 18 years. This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
No!
Introducing Ghana's first unlimited photocopy leasing. Yes, from just 983 Ghana cedis, you can lease a multifunctional photocopier and print unlimited. Yes, unlimited and free paper every month. Guess what? That's not all. Toners, repairs, and maintenance all are free. And oh, I'm not kidding at all. And we cover the whole country. Yes, the whole country. What are you waiting for? Just visit us at www.valexlease.com or call 0244 644048. I repeat, or call 0244 644048. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Valex Lease, affordable document management solutions.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News, and this is Point Blank. Remember, Point Blank is brought to you by Valex Lease Equip Limited. Valex Lease affordable document management solutions. On Point Blank tonight, we'll be at the Ministry of Energy, because the minister has announced that the ministry has submitted a report concerning the missing ECG containers to the Attorney General's office. Following reports of missing containers at the ECG, the Energy Minister established a committee to locate and recover them. During a working visit to the ECG, the Minister, Dr. John Jinapo, confirmed that the committee's report has been forwarded to the AG to prosecute individuals who may be found responsible for causing loss to the state.
Tell you that they've awarded contracts about 9 billion when the board approved contracts for just about 3 billion. You can check from the records. You are given a threshold at the board of 3 billion, and you end up spending about 9 billion. And it's not as if you spend 9 billion. You've given contracts so much so that the containers, when they get to the port, you don't even have money to clear the containers. So one, you are incurring cost of 9 billion. Two, you are not using the items because they are stuck at the port. Three, you are paying demurrage for the containers stuck at the port. So as minister, I've had to work extra hard with the other stakeholders. And I want to thank the Gapoha staff, the chief executive, and to thank the national security coordinator and his staff, and thank the chief of staff of Madam Valerie Soya and co for helping us to move those containers. It's been a very, very difficult task, but like I said, we should never go that path again. And as minister, I will not tolerate that. If it happened in the past, it must not happen today. We funded a full document to the Attorney General. He's taking it. And if people are found culpable, I'm very confident that the law will take its course. We are not victimizing anybody.
We are the Minister of Energy, John Jinapo. Let's go to the phone line and speak to Richmond Roxon, who speaks for the Ministry of Energy. Richard, we thought that this whole ECG container matters has come to an end, because not too long ago, the MD of ECG told us they found all these containers. Why they need to get advice from the Attorney General or even submit a report to the Attorney General in this matter?
Good evening, Samuel. Good evening to your cherished listeners. And let me thank you for the opportunity. It is important we look at this issue from its proper perspective. In December 2024, after the elections, the transition team was given a briefing. They were told that ECG had 2,490 containers uncleared at the port. And so, upon assumption in office by Honorable John Jinapo as Minister for Energy and Green Transition, as part of his tour, we went to inspect these containers. And I mean, what he saw, he wasn't convinced that those containers were up to. And so he put together a committee that the committee should investigate. The committee provided a report that they couldn't find 1,300 of these containers. And so subsequently, the government put together a committee supervised by the Chief of Staff, made up of National Security, Customs, GRA, the Energy Ministry, Transport Ministry, and other stakeholders. The committee did its work. It traced all ECG containers that have been uncleared, and then it traced over 2,600 containers consigned to ECG. Out of those 2,600 containers, there were 2,583 at various locations which had been traced. And so the Chief of Staff further directed that these containers be evacuated. The process is still ongoing. About 1,344 of these containers have been evacuated. The inventory has been taken. The rest are still at the port. And so that's the background of it. And so when you take over as minister and then you're not able to find containers, obviously you'll be alarmed. And then also you look at the procurement practices associated with it. Why, in the first place, why should any business, if you're a shareholder of a business, would you sit down to have this number of containers at the port? Number two, you'll be paying demurrage because these containers are there. Number three, you are not able to use these containers. And number four, if you look at the procurement practices involved. And so the matter has been under investigation for a while. Report has been sent to the Office of the Attorney General, the Minister of Justice. You know that the ministry does not have prosecutorial powers. So they, together with the investigative bodies, will look at it and advise where people have to be held culpable. Definitely that should be. And so it's not a matter that as a ministry, the minister is leaving it behind. The minister is keen to ensure that, one, all containers out there are retrieved. Number two, anybody who played any part in this liability will be held accountable for his or her actions.
So it means, despite the announcement by the MD of ECG that they found all this, you still want to punish people who are responsible for this. You care to share with us some bit of details about the reports?
Hello, Sammy.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. You said some details.
I'm asking that. Can you tell us a bit about this report? Some details of this report?
Oh, generally, what the report entails will be the procurement practices within the period, and then also the various locations where these containers were found, their inventory as contained, and then also the supplies. There are a number of information contained in the report. And like I said, I'm sure that once the Attorney General looks at it at the appropriate time, we will announce further actions.
Away from the ECG container, your boss also announced today that the ministry has been able to save close to $300 million due to some new agreement with the independent power producers. Tell us more about this.
Upon assuming office, it was a very challenged situation. Honorable Jinapo and this administration inherited a power sector that was debt-driven, debt-stricken at the time, was in so much mess. There were no fuels, liquid fuels at the time to power thermal plants. We had come from a year, the 2024 year, where every month, not a single month went without load shedding. As of December 2024, we had over 700 megawatts being shedded in load. And so it was a very difficult situation. And what the minister has done over the period is to take a comprehensive look at the sector. And so when it comes to the energy sector, we've had upstream, we've had downstream, we've had a committee look at the power sector as well. And so one of the critical points that the minister considers, especially when you look at the whole work plan that he has, is to tackle the cost of generating electricity. And that is why this committee was established. The committee was not chaired by a politician, it was chaired by a technocrat from civil society. Mr. Ben Boachi tells you the level of commitment of the ministry, because the minister wanted to be as transparent as possible, get the best of resources that we have to ensure that we make progress when it comes to the power sector. The committee has engaged various IPPs, and I'm happy to, as the minister announced, to reiterate once again that But the work that has been done by the committee, over $300 million has been saved. There are two options, two gains. The first one is that when it comes to the legacy debt, you've had the negotiation team get some of the IPPs to discount what is being owed. And then also when you look at the charges, we've been able to negotiate that downwards. So for example, you had IPPs that were producing power at 20 kilowatts per 20 cents per kilowatt. As of now, it's been renegotiated to 5, some 6, some 7.5. And so it's been significant progress. The goal is to ensure that across the value chain, you bring about efficiency, you bring about effectiveness. And once you go through that process and you're making progress along the line, definitely at a point in time will reflect in the tariffs. Beyond that, Cabinet also, the President approved, the Cabinet approved that all MDAs should also pay for electricity. It tells you the drive towards revenue mobilization. If you look at the revenues of ECG over the period, it has improved. The ECG is the lifeline of the sector. It's distribution. So once ECG is doing well, you'll see the ripple effect, because once ECG makes the collection of these revenues, able to pay for transmission, pay for generation, and then also the energy sector supplies. And so it's a comprehensive overview that the government is looking at, and it's good that across the chain, if you look at it from every point, beyond the 300 million, there's been improvement in revenue, there's been improvement in distribution, the lights have been kept on, the light is still staying on, and the goal or objective of the ministry and government in general is to ensure that you have consistent power supply, and that will be achieved through the work plan that is being implemented by the minister.
On a year-to-year basis, how much are we spending on the IPPs?
Averagely, this year alone, if you look at how much we've spent on IP, I'll put it together, how much we spent on IPPs and then energy sector supplies. So far, the government has spent close to $1.5 billion. This is, and we are in October. The last figure will be from here to the end of September. And that is way above what was spent last year. And so it tells you the commitment of government. Then that is why you've seen that, one, the IPPs are not threatening, they're not shouting as we were seeing in the past. And also it's because the cash waterfall mechanism is being adhered to strictly. Last year, the whole of last year wasn't adhered to. You had the formula being breached at all times, but that has been different. That has not been the case for this year.
The ECG has, been pushing in recent time for an adjustment or a review of the tariff. This has come to the attention of the ministry, I guess. And is the ministry pushing for them to have a review, or you have another way or another opinion on this?
The vision or the opinion of the ministry is that at all levels there should be efficiency. And for example, if you had an ECG where you have a budget of 3 billion, you have a budget approved by a board to spend 3 billion, and you spend 9 billion, and you have a budget of 2.8, you spend close to 9 billion, and this continue for 3 years. That's 2022, 2023, 2024. So if your budget is close under 10 billion, and you end up spending close to 30 billion, it should tell you the mismanagement there. This year, last year, so far, whereas someone spent 9 billion, this year the current HCG management has spent 2.2 billion on procurement. And last year, you realize that they procured a lot of materials they did not need, what we call non-essential materials. And that's why the minister this year, one of the first things he did was to stop ECG from procuring non-essential materials. This year, they procured 2.2 billion, and these are material things, transformers. And that's why if we check across, the outages have reduced significantly, the overloads that we're experiencing. You are buying poles, you're buying meters, you're buying conductors, and these have helped with the maintenance. And so if you look at that trajectory, it tells you that you're bringing about a lot of efficiency in the fiscals of ECG. With that going, if there are basis for any increment, obviously, the ministry will look at it. And then once there's justification, take a decision these are decisions left with PURC. They're the ones that engage the utility, and then at the end of the day, do advice. You know that what they are looking at is what we call the micro. These are major tariff reviews and the number of factors, guidelines that have been put in place. And so, even though it falls in the ambit of PURC, as a ministry, you rest assured that the first option is to ensure that you're efficient with the resources that you have. You go out there, you collect the revenues, and that's why the government is looking at private sector participation. Beyond that, it says all MDAs, ministries, department, and agency must pay for electricity consumed. All of them will go into revenue mobilization and efficiency.
Okay, Richmond, thank you very much. Richmond, Roxanne is a spokesperson for the Ministry of Energy. Away from energy, let's talk Galamsey. President John Dramani Mahama recently held a meeting with some 50 or 60 civil society organizations on how to address the issue of Galamsey. The National Coalition on Mining has issued a statement on this meeting with the president, even though they say they were not invited. They've issued a statement on how best government or Ghana as a country can address the issue of Galamsey. Let's go to the phone lines again and speak to Richard Alima, who is a member of the National Coalition on Mining. Richard, in your statement, you outline, a number of solutions to address this whole Galamsey issue. One, you say that Galamsey is not simply a law and order issue. Exactly what do you mean?
Oh, thank you very much. We made that comment based on our experience in addressing the problem of Galamsey over the past 20 years. We've passed new laws, we've amended laws, and we've used the military to address Galamsey. But if they succeeded, I'm not sure we'll be having this conversation. So we basically are saying that we cannot rely on the laws, the fact that you passed a law and then tomorrow morning Galamsey ends. It doesn't work that way. That is what we're trying to draw the nation's attention to.
And so apart from the law, people, Galamseyers are arrested, they are prosecuted, and we are told that the recent action by UNIMOS is getting some success, and you still believe that it shouldn't be a law, issue?
We should be careful not to mistake the optics that we see as the real fight against Galamsey. For a very long time, we've been arresting Galamseyers. Who has bothered to check up on these Galamseyers? What happens to them? I mean, you go to the field and they tell you that they are arrested and the next morning they are billed. They go back to the field and work. So that has been the approach, and we are saying that it hasn't worked. We send soldiers to the field, they beat people up, they arrest them, and the next morning they are back to the field to work. So this whole use of military and the use of the law has not worked. Again, because Galamsey is very complex. Very, very, very complex. You cannot address it simply by passing a law or by sending soldiers and other military security guys to the field. It doesn't work that way. Unless you acknowledge the complexity, that it is a mixture of livelihoods, it's a mixture of people's greed, it is a mixture of regulatory failure, it is a mixture of political connections, political mileage that is abused, So it's a potpourri of all these measures that we have used, and until you acknowledge these measures, it's difficult to find one simple solution to addressing Galamsey.
So all the effort that we are putting, including putting military men on the ground, the blue water guys and the rest, they are yielding little results, you think?
Oh, under President Kufuor, we had Operation Flashout. Under President Mahama's first term, we had Operation Cowleg. Under President Kufuor, we had Operation Vanguard. Then we had Operation Hot 1, Operation Hot 2. If the military could stop Galamsey, I'm not sure we will be having this conversation. I don't think so. So that is why we are calling for a totally new shift to the measures we outlined to deal with the problem of Galamsey. Until we begin to think outside the box, until we begin to have a mixture of solutions, we cannot address it.
One of the new proposals you are putting across is a state-society collaboration in the fight. Exactly what do you mean?
Yes, so far the state has led the fight against Galamsey, but unfortunately there hasn't been a collaboration between the state and even the communities where Galamsey happens. Galamsey happens within a space, within communities, like the communities that you already know of. But to what extent has government involved the communities in the fight against Galamsey? It has always been more of a centralized kind of fight against Galamsey. Even the district assemblies in areas where Galamsey occurs are not involved in the fight. They take instructions from a central command in Accra. We form NIMOS. Formerly it was the Interministerial Committee. Now it is NIMOS. We form it in Accra. And then they come on operations down to the district level, and they only call the DC to inform him that we are coming down to your district to do this operation. That's all. Do we even take the views of community people into consideration? Do we take the views of traditional people into consideration? That has not been done. And that is why we are saying that we need a stronger collaboration between the state and the society, the communities, the chiefs, the people who are directly affected by Galamsey. We need to be talking to them. We need to let them lead the charge, to tell us what we can do to stop Galamsey. Until we get to that point, I'm sure everything that we have been doing will just be futile.
But Richard, in this same society you mentioned, you go there and they are fighting the authority helping to end Galamsey. It's now become more or less like an employment for them. The whole village, the whole town is involved in Galamsey, and so they will resist and oppose any attempt to end it. How do you collaborate with such a society?
That is also another complexity that I spoke about. Why are they opposing the fight against Galamsey? Earlier on I told you that there is a part of Galamsey that is more livelihood related. Communities who depend on mining for many years. I was born in Obuasi, I was raised in Obuasi, I still live in Obuasi. When I was growing up, even some of my classmates in school were doing Galamsey. I mean, back then, anytime it rained heavily, they would just go to the gutters and scoop some sand from the gutters, and then they did their own thing and then got their gold. They were not using chemicals, they were not using machinery. Who are the people who introduced machinery into Galamsey? It's these same politically connected big people who live in the urban areas. They came down to the communities, introduced these large-scale destruction that we now call Galamsey. So until we address the concerns of the community, what is their concern? Their concern is that what we call Galamsey is a form of livelihood for them. If indeed it is a form of livelihood for them, what are we doing as a state to address the negative effects of that livelihood that they are talking about? We can do mining in a very responsible way. We can secure the livelihoods of communities that depend on mining. Other countries have done it. We can also do it. It is erroneous for us to always be thinking through the lens of using the security all the time. We should also be considerate about the livelihoods of the communities that depend on these mining that we call Galamsey. It is artisanal mining, which is very common in all mining communities in the country. The issue is about the state's capacity to regulate the way they do the mining, and the state's capacity to support them in pursuing their livelihood. That is more important than using the military against them.
You said the government must commit more resources. Are they not committing resources enough to address this issue of Galamsey or illegal mining?
I don't think so. I've just introduced another angle about securing the livelihoods of community people. I don't think government has averted its mind towards that. So it's one way of getting to the community level, securing their livelihoods, and then it will be a way of ending the negative impact of Galamsey. So we need to re-strategize this whole fight against Galamsey. Let's re-strategize. Tackle those who are in the urban areas and fueling Galamsey, whilst at the same time protecting the livelihoods of communities who depend on small-scale mining to survive.
You asked a very critical question. And I'll quote the question. You say, will President Mahama have the political courage to act against those in his government and the NDC who are known or rumored to be doing galamsey or are galamsey kingpins and facilitators? You have any idea or any evidence that some people in this administration are involved in the trade?
That is why we use the word. We use the word rumored. Rumored. We were not. I mean, there are rumors in the air. I mean, and it's not just this NDC government. Even in the past regime, the Professor Frimpong Boateng report fingered some officials of the party. I mean, as being involved in galamsey. What happened to them? Have we taken time to even investigate them and come up with the findings and conclusively deal with the issues? That has not been done over the years. You are a journalist. You can even tell me now how many of the people that we hear are reported. I mean, in your intro, you mentioned that NIMOS has arrested some people, etc., etc. How many of them? How many of them? Just look at their faces. If your TV cameras were there, look at the faces of the people who are arrested at the galamsey site. Look at their ages and look at them. If these are people who have money to buy excavators, they are not. There are people who live in Accra and Kumasi who have the money. They buy the excavator, send it down there, and the young person in the community who is unemployed and wants to go to the gala site to make some money ends up being arrested. So you arrest them, the financiers still sit comfortably in Accra and Kumasi, and nothing happens to them. So it is an issue of fairness. Fairness. If you are targeting those who are doing it for livelihood, why don't you target those who are out of greed, are fueling the destruction of forests and water bodies at the community level?
Richard, thank you very much for your time. Richard Elima is a member of the National Coalition on Mining. And that's how we end today's edition of Point Blank and Eyewitness. You remember, Point Blank is brought to you by Valex Lease Equip Limited. Valex Lease Affordable Document Management Solutions. My name is Sami Wiafi. Earlier you heard a Jubi Wiafi show produced by Beverly London and Kwabna Wilson. Technical assistant Desmond Nyako. Till we come your way again on Monday, may the good Lord be with us all.
Citi News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, Citi 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at Citi 9.